Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And we have two coins here, one from the United Kingdom over here on the right, one from the United States here on the left. And this is the one we're going to focus on. The one with the longer hair here, that's Ben Franklin. Of course, Ben Franklin was bald on the top, but he did have long hair coming out the back. It says Liberty at the top, In God We Trust underneath him, 1952 under his chin. This is a 90% silver half dollar. The reason that it's so expensive, of course, is the silver value alone is worth about $9. This one over here is a beautiful coin too. It's a Mary Gillick first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This coin is, I'll show you just to go, it's from 1956. So these are both from the 50s, but this coin is much less valuable. This is a half crown. It's a big, huge coin, as you can see. But Britain went to the copper nickel versions of their coins in 1948 Coin Act, I think it was called, and they switched over. Well, the Franklin half dollar coin is this one here, and if you want to try to figure out where it's from, what you need to do is look up at the United States of America at the top, and right under the E you'll see, and this is a D. No surprise for 1952, because the Denver Mint, where most of America's silver was coming from, right near there, Montana, Colorado, those states out there were the United States silver production states. The Denver Mint in 1952 made $25.4 million, and the Philadelphia Mint made $21.3 million. And they also made them at the San Francisco Mint. At the San Francisco Mint, they made $5.5 million. So they'll be either a D, an S, or a blank here. Now, one of the things about these coins, they have a lot of good uncirculated versions of these. So if you don't have an uncirculated version, a lot of collectors will just say, look, I'd rather spend the extra $5 or $7, maybe 19 or 20 bucks total to get an uncirculated version of the Franklin. Unless you have a proof version of the Franklin, you're going to be somewhere around a 19 or 20 buck version, or unless you have a really good MS65 level of the Philly or the Denver. MS65, you're going to be looking at between 50 and 100 bucks, but proof version, you're going to be looking at hundreds of dollars. They just don't have that many. The Franklin half dollar, the most important thing about that is going to be looking at the eagle feathers on the back. So when you're looking for the engraving here, look for the eagle feathers. These two dots here on each side of the E and E pluribus don't mean anything, they're just dots. There is a crack in the Liberty Bell, half dollar down here. We tip it up, it's silver. When was the Franklin made? Well, it turns out the Franklin, they finally were able to push through Ben Franklin on a coin, and that happened in 1948. But unfortunately, it only lasted for 16 years, because in 1963, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and they wanted to get a coin to celebrate him immediately thereafter, and so they put him on the half dollar. 1964. So 1964, silver half dollar, same makeup as this, 90% silver, but after 1964, they went to a copper nickel clad copper. This is a 76 version of it, but that's what President Kennedy looks like on the front of the coin, just a beautiful coin. Now, this one here, this is a Mary Gillick first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. She was 29 years old. It says Regina or Queen Elizabeth II. I sometimes say I, and it really makes people angry, apparently. But it is two Roman numerals, or two I's, is how we would use it on the typewriter, capitalized. Dia Gratia, that's by the grace of God. We see this outside beaded. And we see this one looks silver too, but it's not. It's a copper nickel. What's the difference between this copper nickel and the copper nickel that's in the Kennedy half? Well, the Kennedy half is a copper nickel clad copper. In other words, the copper nickel in the Kennedy half is only on the outsides. The inside is copper, and if you look in there, you can actually see it. If you tip these halves up, you can see the copper on the inside. This one is not copper on the inside. This is copper nickel all the way through. Hence, its weight, which is 14.14 grams, which is significantly more than the Franklin half, which weighs 12.5 grams. When we look at the back of the half crown, oh, what's a half crown worth? Everybody's going, oh, it must be worth a lot. Well, this is from the old British sterling pounds, where there was 240 pence to the pound or pennies to the pound. This one, unfortunately, was not worth a whole lot. It was worth 1/8 of a British pound, or about 30 pence. So 8 times 30 would be 240, which is how many pence were to the pound. So this was a 1/8. Almost essentially, if you were saying, what's it worth? You'd say, okay, it's worth about half of a quarter. So if you cut a quarter in half, it would be worth 12.5 cents. If you cut this in half, it would be worth 12.5% of the old British pound sterling. Beautiful coin. Now, it's a crowned shield, royal shield. We see the 3 lying down lions here, which is for England. We see the rampaging lion here for Scotland, and we see the harp here for Northern Ireland. Half crown, 1956. And then back to our Franklin, and we see that it's a little bit smaller, but it's a lot more valuable. Not anywhere near as beautiful or intricate, but that's not how we look at value often in coins. We look at rarity for value. We look at metal content for value. And we look at how easy they are to get for value. And these half crowns are very easy to get. Right now, you can probably get one somewhere for around $1 plus shipping. All right, that's all we have today from the DC Coin World Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comments section.